You brought a very good point about I'm going to see the doctor about screening. So of course in my field of prostate cancer, we encourage people to go get their PSAs.
Right.
This is a good time if you're a 50-year-old to go and talk to the doctor, have a conversation, and see if you should have your PSA. Make sure that you get digital rectal exam. 15% of prostate cancers are found by finding some sort of firmness or a nodule. But certainly, and if you're at high risk, if you have family history of prostate cancer, you may actually want to do it even earlier, and that's a discussion with your doctor. Colonoscopy saves lives.
Yes, so colonoscopy should start at the age of 50. And then actually, nowadays, you don't need to go for possibly even 10 years for the second one. So there was a time when we were doing it every 3 years and every 5 years. So about 5 to 10 years would be the second one, depending on what they find. But again, if you have a family history or other issues if they found things on your prior colonoscopies, then you may have to go more frequently. But that's the general screening rule starting at the age of 50. And mammograms, for most people, are at the age of 40. We're starting screening. If you're high risk or you have a family history, you may need to start earlier. And again, that's a discussion to have with your doctor. And then also pap smears. So for women between 21 and 29, you would do a pap smear every 3 years, and then starting at the age of 30, they would do it yearly, and then periodically test for HPV.
If you start, this is a question that just came to my mind. If you start sexually being active at an earlier age, is there a time change as far as the pap smear, or that's not?
I think that they may start at the age of 18, but again, I think that's a discussion that is best had with your doctors, and I think a really important discussion to have if you're a mother of girls is to consider the HPV vaccine. I know there are some controversies surrounding it with potential side effects, but I think that it's an important vaccination for our kids because HPV obviously is the biggest risk factor for developing cervical cancer.
That's a very good point. So pay attention to all of that. And of course, one of the things that I promised myself as my resolution this year is to really get more sleep. I always say,
Yes.
you should get 7 hours. Sometimes I go with 5.5 or 6 hours, and you have to be kind to your own body because sleep is very interesting because we don't think about it. Why is sleep so important? But lack of sleep has shown that actually can make you gain weight.
Yes.
You crave for carbohydrates. You get hungry faster. So this is a secret way of gaining weight and become obese.
Right.
And so pay attention to that.
Yeah,
That's very
it's actually
important.
also been shown to put you at an increased risk for diabetes and heart disease as well, believe it or not. Long-term, this is obviously long-term lack of sleep. But it also just affects, from a short-term basis, can affect your relationships on a daily basis. It's actually been shown to cause an increased rate of car accidents for those of us in driving communities. It affects your memory as well. So it becomes incredibly important to get that 7 to 9 hours. So recommended for above the age of 18 is 7 to 9 hours a night.
Let me just finish this segment by saying that when we talk about activities, as you mentioned, the American Heart Associations recommend those amount of activity, but also there are things that you can do by perhaps taking, stairs instead of elevators.
Yes.
I've been doing that, and it actually makes you take a few steps. Some of these wristbands and some of these Apple apps that are out there actually is a way to really motivate you. Getting one of these standing desks, I'm thinking about perhaps this year maybe a good way to maybe be standing because, we're spending about 50% of our time sitting around. You're commuting, then you come to your computers, then you watch TV, then you're on your, all these apps and etc. So get moving, and that would be really a great way to increase your activities.
Right, absolutely.
Now,
Any activity is better than nothing.